She came in soaked from the storm, water dripping from the ends of her hair and forming little puddles around her heels. I noticed immediately the way she shook out her umbrella, wrung her coat, and laughed nervously while apologizing to the host. It wasn't a dramatic entrance, but it was impossible to ignore. I was sitting across from a single dad on a blind date, making small talk, when the atmosphere shifted. Alex had been polite but distant, awkwardly handling his glass, avoiding eye contact. I assumed he was just shy, maybe a little nervous. I smiled at him, trying to ease the tension, and then she appeared, wet, disheveled, yet radiant in a way that drew every eye in the room. She carried herself with confidence, utterly unbothered by the storm. And suddenly, the energy of the entire restaurant changed. Alex jumped to his feet, not to greet her, not to introduce himself, but to leave. I blinked, stunned. He pushed his chair back so hard it scraped against the floor and muttered something about needing to step outside. The staff looked confused, and my own pulse spiked. What was happening? Was he okay? He didn't return. Minutes ticked by, and I was left unsure whether to wait or leave. Whispers filled the room, curious glances flicking between me and the door. Outside, the storm intensified, rain hammering the windows, lightning streaking across the sky. Just as I stood to go, she approached, drenched, apologizing once more. Her hands trembled slightly, but she held her head high. "I'm so sorry I'm late," she said, her voice shaking but genuine. "The storm, it caught me off guard." I nodded, words failing me. And then it hit me. Alex hadn't left because of her or the storm. He left because he recognized something he couldn't compete with. Her presence filled the room, drawing attention, exposing a hesitation in him he hadn't even acknowledged in himself, a doubt, a lack of courage. The host, trying to smooth over the moment, gestured for her to sit. I pointed to the empty seat across from me, and she smiled with gratitude. As she settled in, rainwater soaking a napkin I offered, I noticed something remarkable. She didn't flinch. She didn't over-apologize. She didn't shrink. She simply existed there, confident, unafraid. And in doing so, she made the man I was supposed to be dating feel small. By the time dinner began, the blind date had become irrelevant. Alex's chair stayed empty, his brief attempt at interaction evaporated into the stormy night. Meanwhile, she and I talked effortlessly. Conversation flowed as if we'd known each other for years. We laughed, shared stories, and noticed the little details, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when thinking, the subtle curve of her smile when amused. By the end of the meal, the storm had eased to a drizzle, but our focus remained on each other. Outside, wet streets reflected the soft glow of city lights. She slipped her hand into mine, hesitant yet sure. I realized the man I had been trying to impress with cautious jokes and polite conversation was long gone. In his place was someone fearless, direct, willing to step into a storm, literally and figuratively. As we walked to the car, water dripping onto the sidewalk, she laughed at the chaos of the night. Well, that was an entrance, wasn't it? I laughed too, understanding then that Alex's sudden exit wasn't just surprising, it was telling. He had no place in that moment, no ability to meet authenticity or presence.
She did.
And as we drove away, the storm behind us and city lights ahead, I knew this blind date wasn't about awkward small talk or polite niceties. It was about finding someone who could stand in the rain with you, someone who commanded attention effortlessly, and someone who made everyone else in the room irrelevant just by showing up.